Test, test. Test, 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 test. Vi får ju ljudutslag. Kolla på skärmen. Ljudutslag, ljudutslag. Hej, 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 hej. Jag ska bara lyssna till ljudet.
Har du lust?
Hallå? Hallå? Hoho. Hallå?
Nej, det är inte på. Okej,
Hallå?
vi måste fråga...
Hallå?
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 Får ni höja?
Hallå?
Ja, jag tror att det är volymen. Förlåt?
Hallå?
De är på typ lite, men vi behöver bara högre volym. Martin eller Fredrik, vi behöver högre volym. Förlåt?
Hallå?
Okej.
Hallå?
Hello?
Hello?
Ja. Perfect. Okay, all right. So here we are, the 11th time in Stockholm. It's Fuck Up Night, and we're here to celebrate failure. And we have some great speakers today, and we have some great sponsors. And my name is Ebba, and my name is Julia. And together we create Fuck Up Night Stockholm. And we're happy that you're here today, and you're here some great fuck ups. And we'll talk. Thanks to our sponsors, Summit, where we are, where you can also, if you're an entrepreneur, you look for a place to sit and work, you can just talk to Martin over there and he'll hook you up. And then we have Heineken, brand partner, and Snub Film, who is live streaming this event. And yes, and then there's Star Republic sponsoring us with a great Instagram machine also. And also Fika Box for you who want some snacks. And Julia Delin, our photographer, and our lovely DJ, Coma Kate. And now to Julia, who's going to present some more. So thank you for being here. And yeah, Julia.
Thanks. As Ebba mentioned, today we have an Instagram printer. And it's a great little device from Eventomatic. And basically, it enables you to put up your Instagram photos on our hashtag, which is fun STHLM. And instantly, it will print a photo that you can bring home. We have loads and loads of photos, so go wild and take as many as you like. Just think about that you need to have a public account, so it can't be private. So if you have a private one, just open it for a short little while. Also, just like last time, we have our great past speaker and now serial conferencier, Johan Persson, who will entertain you just as much as the speaker, I'm sure. So welcome to the stage, Johan Persson.
Woo! Thank you, thank you. Feels so. Oh Jesus! Feels so great to be here and you know, this whole live streaming thing. I know my girlfriend is right there. She's doing calops. She's cooking. Hi, baby. Keep on the cooking. And like Julia said, don't forget, you know, the Instagramming fun Stockholm. So STHLM. What a setup of speakers we have today. I am so impressed of these two girls who's doing this all over and over again for us young entrepreneurs out there. And I see some oldies out there too, but we all belong to the future. You should hang up to that. Our first speaker is, maybe we could call you Mr. Internet. That's what I heard, because I actually got in contact with him, and I don't think you even know it, but we actually ate pytt in the frying pan together once. It's pytt panna for you English people out there. It was at Hallands nation, actually. You were supposed to be installed as our honor member there for that nation at Lunds University. And I was in charge of this prom at that year. So that was a great honor to actually have Johan speak at that time too, because you also did speak there. And I remember loads about your journey, everything from your childhood on the West Coast to socialism to your view on entrepreneurship. No, but you had opinions about it. I remember that. So, therefore, it's a great honor to introduce our the capo speaker, Johan Stell von Holstein. He has had countless of titles over the years, operated businesses in 26 different countries, 3,500 employees. Exactly, you heard, 3,500 employees. 26 countries. And he also has a great summer speech for you who don't know that at Swedish radio. You can go into their podcast and hear all of them. And it's a great one too. Similar to Jan Stenbeck, but much better, much better. Okay, enough said. Johan Stell von Holstein, welcome to the stage.
Thank you very much. So I'm making the noise here. So it's great to see there's a couple of older guys and girls in here in the audience, so people actually know who I am. Because most of you guys who are young don't have a clue, because the internet is actually becoming much older than one would think. When I started out in this business in 1995, nobody knew what it was. It was actually 20 million people using the internet globally when we started a company called Icon Media Lab, which is weird to consider today when there's almost 4 billion people using the internet. So a lot of things has happened in the last couple of years, and it's been kind of a bumpy road. I started out, so first of all, I got 7 minutes here, and I'm going to teach you a lot of things. You're going to learn a lot of things that you haven't learned before, which are incredibly important to remember in life. And there's both good and bad news. So the good news is that everybody in here has got in him or her what it needs, what it takes to become truly successful. That's the good news, isn't it? Yeah! You've all got it. The bad news is very few of you are going to succeed. And the reason you're not going to succeed is you're not going to work hard enough. Because if you do work hard enough, you will succeed. If you don't, you're going to fail, because there's so many people out there prepared to do the job that it takes to become successful in exactly your field. That's the disadvantage of globalization. There's two advantages. The advantage is everything works. You never have to have a think about whether the idea is good or bad. Everything goes. All you need to do is to work hard enough to make your idea, good or bad, successful. And that takes a lot of work. If it's a good idea, a lot of people's going to have it. So it might actually even be worse in having a bad idea. So how many people in here think it's important to be intelligent? Hand up. You're all wrong. It is absolutely unimportant. Most of the really, really smart people, you know what they do? They work for guys like me. So, because the smart guys, they do the really boring stuff in small grottos and their companies, figuring out the area of a rhomb and stuff like that. People who have that type of work, who's that smart in mathematics, they're not going to go anywhere. The people who are successful are the ones who dig in and can sell their products. If somebody came to me a couple of years ago and said, Johan, I've got this fantastic idea. I'm going to sell ski poles to women out walking. I would go like, my God. But, 25 million pairs of ski poles later, there are no bad ideas, just great salespeople. So I started out as a byfåne. I don't really know what a byfåne is called in English, but it's not good. But I was dyslexic, I was ADHD, I was born up on a farm that was falling apart, I was always in fights, I was a terrible person. And I had horrible degrees. And I started working on a factory when I was 14 years old making cheese. Now, don't go that route. It's no fun. And I basically, I failed right through high school. And then I went skiing for 4 years, which was great. I had basically two hobbies, was skiing and chasing women. Now, Halmstad, where I come from, is not exactly an alpine terrain. However, it is a summer place, a lot of good-looking girls. But so I skied in the winter and I chased women in Spain in the summer, and I had the time of my life, no intentions of ever doing anything else. And then in summer of, I'm not going to say what year it was because I'm that old. So I had a car accident and I wrecked my leg, and I spent 3 months in a hospital and 3 months in a wheelchair. And I started studying because I had to. My father is a cripple too. He never liked me and I've never liked him. So we were quarreling all the time. And my mother had applied for me to university, which she normally always did. And I had no intention of going. But anyway, I went to university. And for the first time ever, I was really successful at school. Reason being, I was in a wheelchair. I had nothing else to do but to study. I couldn't chase the women in a wheelchair. So for the first time in my life, I was good in school, and I actually started liking it. So problem was I had so bad degrees, I couldn't get into any serious school. So I cheated my way in. Lesson number 1 for tonight. Actually, number 2, because I already taught you that you all have what it takes if you're going to be passionate about what you're doing. Time! It's running out already. I go on for a couple of minutes extra. Is that okay? Yeah! Good. So anyway, lesson number 1, never take no for an answer. If you really want something, go get it. Lesson number 2, life's not fair, get used to it. If somebody wants what you want and they take it, if you really want it, go get it. Fuck the other guy. You know, we should all be incredibly thankful that life's not fair, because if life was fair in a global historical perspective, we would all be born with one leg on a garbage can in Sao Paulo, 1750, and seen our parents die in a cold or with a toothache. Just being born in a place that can put you in a place like this right now makes that life's already been incredibly fair to you, and you should be happy. Let's applaud that. All right, good. So I continue. So I cheated my way into ekonomlinjen, which is basically similar to an MBA. I went up to antagningsenheten, God knows what that is in English, 10 times in 5 days with chocolate cakes, water-combed hair, flowers. And on Friday afternoon, they say, my God, we've got to put you in or we will never get rid of you. So never take no for an answer. And then for the first time, I started really hard, and I finished with about 75% A's. VG was called in my time. A's, wherever, 1s, 5s. Doesn't really matter because degrees are not important. And then I finished, so I was almost 30 when I finished school, and nobody wanted to recruit anybody that old that finished university. So even though I was ambitious, I'd worked hard, I had great degrees, nobody wanted to employ me. And I got this job for this most famous, fantastic entrepreneur we've ever had in Sweden called Jan Stenbeck. And he told me, he said, Johan, everybody who starts with me has to start with carrying beer. So you're going to start working at TV-shop. Can you imagine spending like 500,000 Swedish kronor on studielån and 4 years studying, and then you're going to sell crap that doesn't work? And he told me that you can't have a suit and look good like you. You've got to have a t-shirt and jeans and it has to be dirty so it looks really cheap. So anyway, so I got this really horrible work, and I thought, my God, life's unfair. How am I going to beat this von Sprettenstole? Now, my name is von Sprettenstole, almost. So that had got a job at the head office working with mergers and acquisitions. And I was at this horrible position there saying TV shops, and he was, already doing all the fun stuff, and he had a good... So I started off with 20,000 Swedish kronor a month. And I figured nobody in Sweden is 2 hours a day smarter than me. So all I had to do was to work 2 hours more than everybody else. So basically, I went in first in the office every morning, which is really easy in Sweden. And then when the second last guy went home, I put on my clock, like the one I'm just running over terribly now. And I've even anyway. So I went home, left, and I worked at least 2 hours more than everybody else. And after 3 months, I became marketing director for ZTV, which was like MTV for Sweden. After 6 months, and that was a good job. And after 6 months there, I became CEO for a company called Interactive Television. I built the largest teletext production company in Europe. And after 1 year there, I became the executive vice president from bank in Luxembourg. Who wants to work in banking? Fuck, I hate banking. Oh, horrible. So I was there for 2 years. I lived with Jan Stenbeck. I drove a Porsche. No, I didn't. But a convertible Audi. Really cool car. And I made 250,000 Swedish kronor a month after tax. I had beaten the crap out of von Sprettenstråle and his MBA. And how did I do that? How did I do it? I worked 2 hours more. That's all it did. Now that's a lie. I worked probably 5 hours more. So okay, I exaggerated on the... But I worked 5 hours more and I kicked butt. And I can prove I'm an idiot. Just look at my old degrees from when I was a kid. So basically, working hard, being committed, being passionate at what you do, any bloody idea, as long as you like doing it, you will not become successful in doing something you don't like to do. So don't do things you don't like to do. You will become successful in doing what you like to do because it will be easy to motivate yourself to do the extra couple of hours. What's the most beautiful thing in the world? Love. Yes! So what's the second most beautiful thing in the world? Flowers. Entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is the second most beautiful thing in the world. Love is... Does everybody agree? Is love the best thing in the world? Yeah. But it's not up here all the time, is it? My wife can run away with a tennis teacher. She would just... Yeah, she could. And, much worse. Kids... There she is. If you can do a photo like this, you can really fuck up things. So, kids can be born sick. They run out in front of cars. People get cancer and die too early. Love at its worst points can be as horrible things are. Entrepreneurship, at its peak, when you say goodbye to your staff when they're going to vacation on Thailand over Christmas, you say, I'm going to do... inventory during Christmas, and that's a fantastic. And after 5 years, when you take your first vacation with your family, you go to High Chaparral in Småland. Those points, entrepreneurship is fantastic, but just like love, it has its, it has socialism and unions, and people don't pay their bills and suppliers that don't supply. But at its peak, it's fantastic. So anyway, just a couple of minutes more. I'm coming to all the fuck-ups now because the whole beginning was just success. So I was out eating with Jan Stenbeck and I said, how much money do you have to be rich? And he says, 50 million. I almost shit my pants. 50 million, I said, yeah, $50 million. You're supposed to laugh. $50 million is a lot of money. And I said, so what do you need $50 million for? He said, you need a house in Verbier and an apartment in Paris and a place in New York. You need cars, art on the walls, jewelry on your wife, kids in the right school, a boat with staff on. Shit, it goes fast. So I said, so how do I get rich? And he said, stay with me for 10 years. I promise you $50 million. Isn't that a great time to resign? That's what I did. Fuck up number one. So I resigned. I started a company called Icon Media Lab. We were four founders, and we built it from 4 people to 3,500 employees, 32 offices in 21 countries, publicly traded on the Stockholm Stock Exchange and Nasdaq in New York. We had 18 billion Swedish krona valuation. That was good. I also started a company called letsbuyit.com, which had a 10 billion Swedish krona valuation, publicly traded in Frankfurt, and Europe's largest incubator called Speed Ventures. My personal wealth in 2000 was about 6 billion Swedish kroners. That's good! Very few people has made that much money in 4 years in the history of mankind. But nobody has lost it in 6 months. So I fucked up. I lost everything. I came home. I went skiing for a couple of years. Came home, restarted it, built Europe's largest incubator called iCube. And it was just about to take off. It was valued at 500 million Swedish kroners. And the banks fucked it up again. Financial crisis 2008, I lost everything. So I went to Thailand, Singapore, and I started a company called MyCube, which was going to kill Facebook. Facebook desperately needs to be killed, by the way, but that's another presentation. So I started this company, had a valuation of 250 million Swedish kroners, and I owned, actually more, almost 500 million Swedish kroners. I owned half. I'd made huge success again, and then fuck, the Russian mob came and took the company away. So wasted again. I came home to Sweden, where I am today, looking for lectures, being able to mentor, board of directorship, anything to put food on the table, and I find nothing. So I'm just about to start my own company again called mynameclub.com. www.mynameclub.com. Go in, look at it, and I think it's going to take me up to the top. The thing is here, the really, really important thing here is nothing of that matters. Money, companies. What really matters is having a great family, having friends, inspiring other people to believe in their dreams and do their things and dare to fuck up. Fuck up and do it again and enjoy life. Thank you all.
Woohoo! Oh my God! Johan, please stay with us. Please stay with us. Oh, Jesus. You are lucky you don't have a pullover, because I would be sweating, having you speak like that. God, well, first question, why aren't you into showbiz, television?
Hey, I'd be in any business if anybody wanted to pay me.
Yeah, David Hellenius, he's taking every bloody show out there. You can at least have one.
I'd love to have one.
Yes, but like Johan said in the beginning, for you who a bit younger maybe doesn't really know, you were Mr. Internet, like you say. 20,000 users in those times. What I've heard, you made Internet collapse. The IT bubble.
I made the internet bubble. It's flattering that people actually think so, Sweden, but it wasn't my fault. It was, as always, a bankster thing. It was a financial bubble within the IT sector. It wasn't Does anybody in here use the internet less today than 2000?
And still it was a bubble.
It was a financial bubble.
Yeah.
Not an IT bubble.
Do we have questions? We must do. There we go. Please.
Nice to meet you. Very inspiring presentation. My question is, how do you find the energy to come back and do it again and fuck it up again?
The wife.
How do you find that strength to...
There is not to reason why. There is but to do and die. No, but in all honesty, it's like this story about the frog and the scorpion who was going to cross the river, and the frog looks at the scorpion and says, if you don't sting me, I'll take you over to the other side. And the scorpion says, I promise. And halfway over, he stings the frog, and the frog says, why did you do it? Now we're both going to die. And the scorpion says, it's my nature. It's my nature to just fight back. I provoke life. I provoke people. I provoke myself. I thrive on trying, on working hard and living, rather burn up than to fade away. And then again, I don't really have an option. I have 2 kids who need food on the table. So there is no just leaning back and looking at them starve. It's just, back into the game. I just wish I would have put a bit aside when I could have, but, shit happens.
We always say, don't we? I said the same when I had the student loan at 9,800 crowns. I said, oh, bloody hell, if I just had put 200 crowns away every month, I would have been rich. Do we have more questions? I'm going to put in a question in between here. I think in your summer speech...
I've never done a summer speech. I wish I did.
Are you sure?
I am...
You had some kind of speech out there in the ether.
I probably had a lot of speeches on that.
But I've heard at one point your company, just to understand how crazy this era was was worth like 5 times as British Airways?
No,
or something
no,
crazy
no,
like that?
no.
Why are people making up all these rumors about you?
No, but it was worth about, I think it was 18 billion Swedish kronor. So
A lot of money.
It was a lot of money, sure. But I didn't make up the valuations. The market did.
But what were you selling?
We were the first, one of the very first companies that actually did websites, web pages. We did strategic consulting, design, and web development for corporations and organizations. So, today it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. And Icon Media Lab, the company I built, is still the largest company in the world. It was actually bought for 2 years ago for 4.9 billion Swedish kroners by Publicis. And today it has about 6,000 employees. So it didn't go bankrupt, just I didn't make any money.
Lovely. That's what we call a fuck up. Last question. Do you live in Stockholm now? Or you live in Thailand? Or
No.
where are you?
I moved home from Singapore after 6 years there last summer, and I live in Halmstad. And I try to work with helping entrepreneurs and raising money for my new company, which I think is going to be big, and do lectures.
Lovely. A warm thank you to Johan Schnell
Thanks.
von Holstein. Let him roll. And we have a gift for him.
So light up your life.
Whew. I wasn't even speaking, but I'm sweating like crazy for, okay, if everything goes crazy, showbiz is the new thing, Johan. Showbiz. Okay, our next speaker is Nils von Heine. And he's a digital visionary entrepreneur, everything that goes with IT, I suppose. And on his list of achievements, it's on the other hand, it's like the partner of Pronto and founder of the music app One Song. Welcome to the stage.
Thank you.
Hey.
All right. Hi, guys. I'm in complete shock after Johan's first speech here. See if I survive. I'm Nils, exactly. I think I've been an entrepreneur for about 10 years now. Started by complete accident. I met this weird guy at a bench outside an agency I was working for at the moment. And he had just founded a company called Pronto, which today is a digital communications agency. Back then, we were a word-of-mouth marketing agency. We were basically the first agency in the Nordics to start working with Web 2.0 before it was called social media. Basically, what we did was we harassed teenagers on Lunarstorm and Play Ahead. It was a really good business idea. People liked that for some reason. And we built an agency from that. Today we're about 23 people, and I've decided to actually leave the company in about a month from now. We'll see what's going to happen. I've done a lot of different weird things. After meeting this guy, Gabriel, who's still my business partner, I sort of became addicted to ideas and entrepreneurship. So I launched a whole lot of shit, basically. Some of these things worked out, some did not. I think what I'm putting my focus on now is Pronto for another month. One Song, the social music app, which hopefully will work out. I have a venture builder called Svärd von Heine, which is also brand new. And a lot of different things. I will not talk about fyllesamtal.se.
I used that once.
Not good for you. That's a fuck up all on its own, but I'm happy to answer any questions about that later on. I want to focus on these three lower ones, which all represent, well, they represent three different fuck ups, basically. It's Kioskbolaget, Magazine Productions, and U-Tales. I will tell the short stories of these three highly failed ventures. When I was about 23, I guess, I had this friend. He's a farmer and a musician. It's a weird combo. So he's a farmer and a musician, and he has this barn outside of Stockholm. And back then he told me he wanted to build a music studio inside the barn. I thought that's the most amazing idea I've ever heard. I'm going to invest heavily in this idea. All the money I had at the time, which was not a lot of money, went into this weird sort of startup idea. So the idea was build a music studio inside a barn. There were cows on the lower floor, and then a music studio on top of that. Rent it out to musicians. Makes sense. I had a good idea of live streaming 24/7 from the studio, and we would have artists come in and do sponsored gigs, I guess. Great. I invested, I think it was 20,000 SEK, which was a lot of money for me as a 23-year-old. Basically everything I had to buy studio equipment. It was me, my friend, and his band of random weird dudes that I had never met before. And I think the first week we were still building this studio. We were contacted by a Swedish band that were big in the 80s and 70s called Dag Vag. Some people are old enough to remember them. I was not. I didn't know who they were. But they wanted us to, for some reason, help them do like a comeback show, a concert. So we said, sure, we'll do it. We'll rent a space, a venue, we'll invite people, we'll charge them money, and we'll take part of the earnings. Said and done, did that, worked perfectly. Went back, kept building the studio, and I think maybe a month later, I got a letter from the Swedish Enforcement Authority, Kronofogden. Because this company, it was not an aktiebolag, not a limited company. It was a handelsbolag. That's fuck up number one. Never start a handelsbolag. Because you're personally liable for the finances of the company. And I got this letter saying, hey, you owe some people 30,000 SEK and you have to pay it in 10 days. Or you get a prick, as it's called in Sweden. You don't want to get that. That's bad. I was 23 years old. I was facing this debt. I didn't know what it was from, but I had to pay it in 10 days. And we eventually found out that my friend or one of the guys in the band had taken upon himself to sort of continue the success of the Dag Vag concert and book a concert of his own for an artist that was completely unknown, book a venue that was really costly, try to invite people, but no one showed up, and did not inform the rest of the company that he had done that. Instead, he fled the country, went to Norway, and just waited. So we couldn't get a hold of him. We just paid the money, tried to figure out what had happened, but that was more than the money we had in the company. So that handelsbolag went completely bankrupt. That was fuck up number one, Magazine Productions, and yeah, we're never going to see that company again. Fuck up number two. During the early days of Pronto, me and my business partner Gabriel sort of started a new company every week inside Pronto. So Pronto was digital communications, but we could somehow fit any kind of business into that. We had a store selling Japanese vintage clothing. We had a bread delivery service called Änglabröd that delivered bread to people every Saturday morning. And then we founded Kioskbolaget. It literally happened in 20 minutes. We were in the car going from Örebro to Stockholm from a client meeting, and we started talking about kiosks, kiosker, you know, Pressbyrån, 7-Eleven, tiny stores that sell candy and tobacco and magazines. And we were like, why are there only like 3 major players in this space? 7-Eleven, Pressbyrån, and what else is there? Something else. Why doesn't anyone start a new company like that? And we realized there are a lot of these tiny kiosks all around the country that only has one owner. You know, these small red huts where this lonely entrepreneur sells hot dogs to people. So we thought, if we buy all of those, we could create a really great company because they have perfect locations in small cities. We didn't really have that much money back then. I think we were 25 around this time. We were in the car, so we'd say, okay, how much does one of these cost? Go to blocket.se, find a kiosk in Enköping for 100,000 SEK, buy it in 5 minutes. So all of a sudden we own this kiosk in Enköping. And we went there, we met the people who were working there, because there were people working there, and we had to hire them, apparently, because that was the law. So we hired these random strangers we had never met before. This is the actual space. We had this idea of creating a sort of 50s themed kiosk with Beatles music playing all the time. We were really sort of high on concepts back then. So we rebuilt the entire kiosk. only thing was the people who worked there didn't really understand what the hell we were doing or who we were. These random guys from Stockholm. They had been working there for 2 years. Everything was normal. Then we came in and said, we own this place. You have to play Beatles music 24/7. So we sold candy and ice cream and magazines and stuff like that. We probably had a turnover of maybe 20,000 SEK a month. And then we also sold bus tickets. And that was the law, because there's a local bus company in Enköping, and this kiosk has such a good location that you need to sell the bus tickets there. So we had to sell bus tickets, and every month we'd get a new delivery of bus tickets from the bus company. And we sort of started to feel doubtful about our employees, because we were in Stockholm and they were in Enköping running the show. And we would get calls saying the kiosk is not open, there's no one there, there's a sign saying out to lunch that's up all day. So we were starting to get worried, but before we did anything about that, something really bad happened. There was a break-in in the kiosk the night after we had a new delivery of bus tickets, and bus tickets were stolen for the value of 300,000 SEK. Yeah, that was bad. So basically, we had to pay 300,000 SEK in a matter of 30 days. Our turnover was 20,000 SEK, which almost killed Pronto. We were barely surviving after that. And then, of course, we had to close everything down. Then our employees sued us, so we had to pay them money as well. And now that company's gone. Fuck up number 2, never trust people in Enköping. Fuck up, let's see. There's one slide missing, so I'll talk about that without the visual. Fuck up number 3, U-tails. So fuck up number 1, I basically risked all my own money. Fuck up number 2, we also almost killed our own company. Fuck up number 3, I wasted other people's money. Way better. So U-tails, this is 4 years ago. I realized I wanted to change the children's book industry. So we created a website called utales.com where we broke all the rules of the children's book industry. So it was a crowdsourced site. Anyone could create a digital picture book for kids that you could read on the iPad, which had just come out. You could buy them, you could subscribe to them, anyone could create it. It was a perfect site for people who want to create picture books. So we had like 3,000 US middle-aged women creating picture books on this website, and no one bought them whatsoever. But we still were really good at exciting people about this idea. So we took on an investment of a little over 1 million SEK for this idea that never took off. And I also built a team. I was super excited about this idea. So I took on anyone who wanted to join. And I needed a CTO, a guy who would lead the development and build everything for me. I met this guy I'd never met before through recommendations. And we said, let's build this company together. Did it for 10 months. Then took on investment, then launched the website. 2 weeks after launching the website, that guy left. But he did not leave his share in the company because he was protected by an agreement saying that his 20% he could keep even though he didn't work. Which meant I couldn't sell those to any new tech guy. I couldn't keep building the website, and all of my time went to taking care of the investors because they wanted to make money in like 6 months. And we had this failing website that didn't make any money at all. So my entire focus was keeping them happy. I was just sending reports every day to them saying, it's not going well, but soon it will. And I kept doing that. I even kept the company alive for 4 years, making no money, because I felt so bad that I had wasted all of their money. So it actually was put down a little over a month ago, because I felt now they probably forgot about it now. They probably won't kill me. That's fuck up number 3. And I think the lesson in all of these fuck ups, except for don't trust people in Enköping, is don't trust other people. I can easily blame all of these fuck ups on other people, which is good. But I hopefully will realize that I'm part of the problem here. I was too excited about the idea that I didn't focus enough on the team and the people. And I didn't spend enough time actually explaining the visions and making sure that everyone was aligned in what we wanted to do. So going from almost wasting all my own money, almost killing my own company, and then wasting other people's money, I think that's the main lesson here. Don't trust yourself, but trust other people. Thank you. All right.
Amazing, amazing. Oh my God, you're like a young version of Johan Snell von
Oh,
Holstein.
fuck no.
Gosh, you don't know what you're up for. Oh, lovely. But the funny thing with Fuck Up Night is that you're supposed to learn from these things. But I'm sitting here and I'm just feeling, I just want to go out and start crazy stuff and fuck up. Cool. Do we have some questions out there? Yep. Yeah. There we go. Good, good.
Hello
Keep
again.
on rolling, boys.
Question guy.
Just out of curiosity, how did you manage to raise the money so fast?
For the last one, I'm a marketer, so that's probably why. I did a really good pitch. We didn't have a business at all. So I did a keynote of 10 slides and just sold them on the idea through passion. I think that was sort of the key. Everyone said, we usually do not invest in these kinds of things.
No, I mean for the debts.
Oh, for the debts?
Yes.
Oh, we took a loan. The company took a loan from the bank. Yeah.
Great
Took some
idea.
time to pay that off, but eventually we actually did.
Do we have some more questions? I stick in one. Yep.
Actually, when you said you disappointed people, is that something that you're now scared of in the future, going like convincing people? Are you scared of failing them again?
Partly yes, or at least I was. I think what I've learned is to not oversell ideas just to get a team or investment, because if you do that, you're pretty much bound to fuck up. So I'm not scared to do it, but I think a lot more about how I actually do it these days.
The one actually. When you're an entrepreneur, I guess you don't have all the abilities yourself. You kind of need to partner up with other people. And somebody greatly disappointed you. So how? And I guess that's a lesson for everyone in here who doesn't have all the abilities. How do you deal with that? How do you find the partners?
What I've changed is that I now try to take the time to actually get to know people and really talk about my expectations and my visions and listen to their expectations and their visions. Because a lot of times you should not, I would even recommend not starting a company with your best friend. I started one with my girlfriend. That was risky. But yeah, well, we eventually broke up, so I guess it didn't work out. It's better to start a company with people you don't know that well, but you should take the time to make sure you set the expectations right and really get to know each other in a way that, and talk about the worst case scenario. Talk about what are we going to do if everything goes to hell.
What about legal protection in agreements?
Yeah, that's important too. I tend not to care about that, which is a problem. No, you should do that, but I would say don't do it too early. Make sure you have aligned the visions. That's more important than the legal aspects. But then, of course, as soon as you have a real company set up, you have to do that as well. It's important.
I have one last question there. Do we have one more? Yeah, okay.
One more.
Julia?
She's a
Good,
fast
good.
learner.
She's...
Thank you for your speech, of course. Is this on?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. You said that it's not a good idea to start a company with your best friend or someone you know very well. Can you explain why? Because that's what actually what I'm doing at the moment.
Okay.
I'm starting a company.
Oh my God, you gotta run!
Just come up on stage straight away. No. Of course you can do it, but there's a risk because you tend to have so much history and you have one view of each other, how the other person is, and if it's your best friend, you've probably never been in a situation where you you could start hating each other if you do not agree on the terms. So if you do that, or since you're already doing it, make sure to have a couple of conversations about how do we handle this if it goes to hell. How do we handle this if you become disappointed in me, or if we do not agree on where to take the company next? Because it's easy when it's just an idea and you're toying around with it. But as soon as it's a company and there's money involved and then you start hiring people, it's harder. Trust me. I mean, I've been in business with my business partner, Gabriel, for 9 years. That was not a friendship to begin with. It is now. Now that I'm leaving the company, it's a very, very painful process. So you have to have those conversations while everything is still fine and dandy.
So the business partner who's watching this live, he still trusts you. He didn't really mean. Cool. But I have one last question here. You know, you had how old are you now?
32.
32, and you have some amazing fuck-ups, and even economically fuck-ups. But still you're so positive, and you want to still take on the world. Other folks maybe would go, oh, this is nothing for me. I'm going to go for an employee or something. How do you stick up with a positive attitude?
Well,
still.
I think it's easier now that I've fucked up a couple of times, actually, because I know it's not the end of the world. And to me, it's still the most fun thing you can do. Try to create stuff, try to change the world in a sense, instead of having a day-to-day standard job. It's not for me.
Cool. Like Journey would say, don't stop believing. Keep fucking up out there. Okay. Thank you, Nils. Thank you. And of course, we have a little gift for you as well. Here from Ebba, one of our organizers. So even you who's back on the World Wide Web out there, you can use the hashtag fun Stockholm, like you see up here, fun. STHLM. Our last speaker for tonight's fuck up, is Axel Nyhagen, and he has a long experience within the Swedish fashion industry. And together with his dear friend Rickard Hutchinson, he created the uber cool The Local firm, with physical shops and everything here in Stockholm, I assume. But enough said with that. Now he's gonna tell his story of a fuck up himself. So a warm welcome to Axel. Please welcome on the stage.
Is it on? Yes. Did you call me Action, Nyhage? That was pretty cool. Okay, so I'm here tonight to share a bit of fuck-ups that we've done during the local firm, but also hopefully to shed a bit of light over the how to do it, what not to do, and how to succeed. Maybe a fragment of a recipe for anyone who cares to add on to it. Anyway, so we founded the company in 2007, and at that time, Swedish fashion was booming internationally. People couldn't get enough of it, and investors were trying to invest in Swedish fashion companies, and there were so many, and they couldn't tell the difference between a successful and a non-successful story or an idea. And we made all our business plans during this year, and then we launched the company in 2007, and our first collection hit the market in fall 2008, exactly 15 days before Lehman Brothers crashed. So the timing could have been better. And after that, when things started going bad, we did our very best to turn things around, to change things to our benefit. And during that period, we worked day and night. We had about no salaries. We put in every money that we could possibly find, our private money from our houses, and we took in investors from anywhere that we could find money in order to take the project off. And so what I've learned during my years, it all ended up in 2014 that we were forced to sell the company when it was in the toilet. So it was far from optimal. So I'm here tonight to share a little bit of what we did wrong and how to improve. And as I said, a small fragment of a recipe, maybe. I think my first advice is to simplify everything as far as possible, to clarify things by simplifying. People tend to add more words, more attributes, more slides to their PowerPoint when they're trying to explain something. But in the end, you're just blunting the tip of your spear, making it more difficult to penetrate the market. What I think it's better to do is to take away things, to take away as much as possible, to simplify it down to the very core. And if you manage to do that, your message, your core message will shine more brighter, making it more easy. And if you, and to use this mentality throughout your whole process, what can I do to make my message clearer? How can I make my product more accessible? Can I simplify the production? Can I earn more money on every pair of jeans that we sell? Can I reorder faster? How can I make everything simple and smaller? And what can I do to handle more orders in a day? More amount of customers in the same amount of hours, or maybe less. Or how can I and use this process throughout? What can I do to make my elevator pitch clearer? Can I cut it down from 30 seconds to 15? What can I do to cut our board meetings from 3 hours to 1.5 and then keep simplifying? What can I do to cut them down from 1.5 hours to 45 minutes? And the reason why to do this is, as I said, the tip of your spear will get sharper and there will be less things confusing. And and also another important issue to do this is that it's difficult enough as it is. You're taking on the world. You're taking on competitors far more better than you are. And the last thing you want to do is to fight your internal organization or your internal administration. And I think that really the most genius business ideas comes from people that has taken an existing product on an existing market and just simplified it, solved a problem like Uber or Spotify or IKEA, for instance. I think that, and also and in general, I think there are many people in the world making easy things difficult, but there are very few that have the ability to make difficult things easy. So that's my first advice. My second advice is to falsify your idea rather than trying to confirm it. People trying to confirm their ideas tend to ignore things that are not in line with their objectives. They tend to test their business ideas on people that they know are going to agree with them. They go out and say, hey, this is a great idea, isn't it? Isn't it? Isn't it? But so don't sell your idea to yourself. Sell it to everyone else, but your job should be to falsify it. And if you manage to do that, you will find holes in your business idea and be able to plug it. So that's my advice number 2. And my third advice and last would be to use your gut feelings throughout the process as well. I mean, we tend to make our decisions using our brain, heart, or gut. And in my experience, when you're about to make an important decision, you gather data. You gather as much data as you can in order to make as good decision as possible. But in the end, you have too much. You're confusing yourself and possibly making the wrong decision. And your heart is often telling you to make sentimental decisions. We cannot close that store. It's been around forever, but this is what we started with. We can't do that, which is not part of the business. But your guts tend to cut through that noise and hit the very core of the problem and making it possible to focus on the very heart of your business and make that thrive. That's about it.
Hey, please stay. Thank you. Axel, I like that.
I like Action.
One of my favorite Axel Roses. So, do we have some questions? I'm gonna stick in. Do we have? I'm gonna stick in with one in between. So, the local firm. What's the status right now? Is it still existing?
Actually, I don't know. We sold the company in almost exactly about a year ago. And after that, I'm not sure what happened to it. I don't think it's on the market right now.
But okay, we got one question. We stick in that.
You talked about how to attack your idea with critique in order to make it better.
Yes.
But how do you distinguish between somebody who knows what they're talking about, whereas somebody who do not know what they're talking about? You know, because it's very sensitive when somebody makes critique to your idea when it's in the beginning. So how do you distinguish between somebody who knows what they're talking about versus somebody who's just not?
No, what I meant was that you as an entrepreneur should try to falsify your own idea. You should sell it in with all the powers and the might of hell to anyone else. But don't sell to yourself. Be 100% certain on where you are at all times. And I think that the best way of finding that grounds is by looking at your idea as, this will never work, or will it? Because if you do, as I mentioned, you will be able to find holes within the concept, within the business idea, that if you pitch it to, for instance, if you pitch it to your girlfriend or your mother, she will like it. I mean, that's great. If you have an idea that you believe in, you want confirmation, you want others to join in, and now I got 20 people liking my idea. It has to be good, right? No, wrong. It depends on which people that has liked it, and if your business idea contains a fragment that says, yes, and then we're going to go on to Tokyo, find a distributor, and, sell for 20 million. You're wrong. There's a hole in that business idea, because if it was that easy, anybody could do it. Anybody would have done it already.
It's like selling walking ski poles. It's very difficult, but no one does it, except 25 million. But I'm wondering, here, because you have all these great strategies and clever ways how to approach the market and kind of building up your business. Where do you find? Because I would hire those thoughts any day. But so where do you find what's the typical fuck up? Where do you think? At what stage did it go so wrong with all these clever thoughts, or that came in the end?
I think our fuck up was that we tried to gain more by doing more, and that when the first 10 seeds didn't grow, we planted 10 more. When those didn't grow, we planted 20 more or 30 more, and in the end, you just have one glass of water, and then suddenly you have 50 seeds. So what are you going to do with that glass? Normally you put a little bit of everything and nothing grows, rather than to just focus on those 3 seeds or 2 or 1 seed that's really promising and put 100% on that.
Exactly. That's what you meant by simplifying too.
Yeah, we ended up in adding things. We had endless board meetings. We had endless investor relations. We had 16 investors who all wanted answers every day, and we kept sending that. And in the end, we were doing everything else but selling jeans. I mean, in the beginning of the company, we won designer awards. We sold in over 20 countries. We have our own stores, etc. But in the end, we turned out to be handling administration, really, pushing our focus further and further away from the core.
I think that's actually a great insight there, that when things doesn't work, we always tend to kind of develop more stuff, in that sphere, instead of, putting on the right buttons, so to say, to actually adjust the thing, your core business, I assume. In this
Another important thing that be sure to be the most stupid people in the company. Always hire people that are way smarter than you are, smarter than you can ever be. That's super key.
Sorry, I got quiet. I just started to think about you and Stefan Olstein. It was funny. Okay. Yes, we have another question here.
Yes. So, Axel, you founded the local firm together with your partner, Richard, and you failed together. So, are you still friends, or are you continuing a partnership, or how?
No, we are super good friends. He started working at another company, and it was really, but it's also, as we mentioned before, starting a company with your best friend. That's you sort of narrow down your the relation to each other, and it's difficult to approach a person like that with some really hard critique, or to disappoint them, or to be disappointed in them. It's difficult to bring up. It's difficult to sit there at the dinner having a nice time and then suddenly, well, you know, by the way, etc. So I think it's important to keep it professional. I mean, to keep it warm and everything, but still just keep it professional and work with people that are super talented. That would also make your life very, very much more easy.
Great. Oh, one more question. What's happening in the roof? Yeah. Yes, please.
So I have a question. When Googling your name, what comes up is the local firm and bankruptcy. And how does that, you know, it's such a public hit when you have a fashion company like this. Did this affect you personally? Was it difficult?
No, not really. I think, and another important thing I think is that we were so 1,000% set on our end goal. That our end goal of the local firm becoming a big international eternal fashion house was so real and so strong. So when actual reality emerged, we considered that to be unreal because it didn't match our vision. This was something else. This was due to the market or something else. And so we, well, of course, we did everything that we could to save the company. But in the end, it was very difficult to accept the fact that we would have to let go and to sell the company. And but after we did, we accepted it. Okay, it's the end of the line. We reached as far as we could. We did everything that we could. We spent all our money. We did everything possible. Sort of accepting it. That was an important part of the process, of course. But that's also I heard that the guy bought the company. He bankrupted it a few months after.
So what's happening with you now? Are you still in the fashion industry?
Yeah, but I took a bit of a time out. Well, I think that's a good thing to do. Started, think about things, and I started building a house. Started reading philosophy, doing something completely different. And after this experience, I was sort of I noticed how our lineup. If you're working in an industry for as long as you are, your thoughts are like traveling the same route every day, everything. You're solving the same problem over and over and over again. So your thoughts get sort of narrowed down into a box. So doing something else was really liberating. But now I'm a category manager at Peak Performance for their casual line, sort of an assortment manager, head of assortment, so to speak. So,
lovely. Yeah. Peak Performance, great brand. Okay, thank you so much. A warm applause to Axel. I'm sure you will get a lovely gift from Ebba here as well. And that's about it for Fuck Up Night Stockholm. It's an event that actually started in Mexico, I assume, I heard. And now it's very developed here in Stockholm. So please come on the stage, Julia and Ebba, who founded this great scenery here.
Yeah, thank you so much, everyone, and the speakers. Thank you so much. It was great, very interesting. We will actually now move on to the mingle.
Yes. And as we said before, you're warmly welcome to take a photo of yourself and hashtag it with Fun Stockholm, and you'll get it printed. And also get a Heineken beer if you haven't already. And they're really cheap here, so get one extra if you want to. And we also want to thank our lovely speakers who have been here today, really inspiring and great stories. And yeah, and also thank you for being here today and joining us.
Johan Persson, a warm round of applause, I think.
Yes.
Is appropriate.
Wow. Wow, what a moderator. Yes, it's the best. And yes, and we have our last event of this spring on June 11th. So please be here then, and we'll go out and have some bull afterwards and on the roof. And yes, do you have anything to add, Julia? And thank you for live streaming today, snabbfilm.se.
So if you look on our Facebook, you will be able to revisit this whole event again if you feel like you want to catch up on something.
Yeah, so mingle and
you.
thank you, DJ Kate Koma. Yes.